Good day everybody, Access Crasher again, and it's time for the second part of the modding Battlestation specific video tutorial. In this part I'm going to deal with the BSP Ripper on how to use it, as well as the Battlestation specific game directory and the layout of the files and folders within. To start off, let's start the BSP Ripper. So it's the main thing. You'll have the open mpak file, extract and open folder. This is the main part you'll use to extract an mpak file. So let's just show you the main directory of Battlestation specific. This is how it looks. So obviously all these files here are just the standard game files that the game used to run. We're never going to touch that. Interface, textures, this is some of your interface files. This part is going to be basically the pictures you're going to see when a mission loads. In like the campaign, that picture it shows for the mission. Here, the radar shots are actually the top right radar screen, the picture that actually shows in the radar screen of the game. Movies are just the standard movie files. That's when you don't play the game for a while, the video it plays in the background. And then also these are the main 5 videos it plays when the game's on the main menu. And these are the videos that play that says IDOS and IDOS Hungary. And also there's the tutorial videos that you can find in the tutorial of the game. Here's the main area we're going to work on. I'll come back to that right now. Sound is just going to be the basic sound files, the music that's going to play, as well as the audio messages. Back to the mpak folder, scenes are going to be where all your mission files are going to be stored. All the mpaks here are what contains the main files containing the scripts as well as the mission properties for every mission in the game, whether it's training ground, campaign or multiplayer. Global is where all the global variables for the game are located. This can be anything from unit properties, weapon properties, where everything is located on the user interface. So this is probably going to be the main part you're going to mod in most scenarios of the game. Classes are where you'll find the mpak files for every class in the game. Every unit, for example, class 1 is the Lexington, and then it goes in sequence up until quite a high number. You'll see there will be just class own and class enemy. That's for planes, because it actually uses 2 models for some reason. And these just have a class number are your ships, but the higher numbers are your buildings as well, your headquarters and all that. They're also physical classes in the game. So back to the Ripper, we're just going to go open game mpak file, and we're just going to browse to where the game is installed. And as you see, I made a copy of the folder there just for a backup, so if something goes wrong I have a clean copy. I can just copy back to start again from fresh if need be. So I just go to mpak, global. I'm going to open the game global mpak file. I'm just going to select all and then click extract. This takes a bit of time. Okay, then it's done. I open folder, and then as you can see, here's everything. Here's models. I don't know what that one is for exactly. Here's your environment sound files. But scripts, that's your main file place. Data tables, autoload. This is where your main Lua files are. Bullet classes are the physical ammunition, the shells, the bombs, that type of stuff. Device classes are the actual weapons, the turrets, the physical machine guns, the depth charge racks, anything that actually spawns a bullet. And then obviously vehicle classes, which will be for your physical vehicles, your airplanes, your ships, your submarines, carriers, headquarters, land-based guns, all that. Now this data tables autoload you can also find in GV main menu, and also G-game on init. Those are basically the free mpaks that you're going to need to open and modify if you want to get to these script files. I'm just going to show, for example, the vehicle classes. Have it open. I'm just going to fold it up quickly. Takes a few seconds. Okay, and you can see there's every vehicle. If you open one, you can see there's all the stats and all the values. We'll handle this more in depth in the next tutorial when we get to that. And then also, I'm just going to find another one I want to show you. I think it's this one. So you can actually see the files that are inside. I'm looking for universe. I don't think it's this one. Let me just show you that one. This has got a bit more files you can play with. We're not really going to deal with that in depth too much. Some of your basic models and textures are here. Yeah, universe library. And then this one, global.enums. You have to open this one with Notepad. You can even Notepad++, but I'll just use Notepad. This is where it assigns a number to each class. So you're going to need, if you want to quickly reference a unit, you can find it here, and you'll see it is vehicle classes, and it will be going down, and then it will start ship classes and plane classes. So this is a nice reference if you want to find the specific number for a unit. So basically, if let's say you're done modifying what you need to modify, you just select mpak, you browse to where you installed the Ripper, you just find it here, extracted files, and then select the mpak you want to pack, click pack, wait for it to compile, and open folder, and you'll see there's your new mpak file that you can then copy back to the original location. Just one thing to note, don't extract a single file and then back that back, because then all the other files will be missing and you'll have the game crashing to desktop, and obviously that's going to be very frustrating. And if you have already done a lot of work to that mpak, it's quite irreversible if you override it with just a single file. Another thing I want to point out is the folder structure of Battlestations specific after the BSmodHQ update version 3. What happened is you'll see there's a lot more folders. Now what happened here are your script files and most of your model files are now in the game directory, as well as most of the script files for your units. So you don't have to go and modify 2 or 3 files, pack those 3 mpaks, put it into the folder, load the mission, test it, and then keep going in that loop. Now you can just open a file, click save, and it will immediately affect the game. As you'll see here, there's all the script files. You only need to modify this file once, save it, and it's immediately available. You'll also see, yes, the models for your bullets, your devices such as this, for example, the Clemson turret, battery, all that. And we'll get to that later point. Planes, ships, your skyboxes. So what's nice about this now is also, for example, if you're at a session, you get to map making or unit creation, and you need to use an island or a weapon from another unit or map, you have to get those files from that map first and transfer it to the new the mpak file you're making. And obviously, if you don't get all the files, that includes effects files, sound files, model files, gesture files, to name a few, the game will crash because it can't find those files. Now with 90% of those files centralized, you can just go and get those script files from another unit. If you want to make a duplicate unit like the Lupus class or the Porter class in version 3, that were basically just clones of the Fletcher that just had their weapon configuration changed. It uses the same model. So then you don't have to go and copy all those things over again. Same with map making. You're going to use islands from different maps as well as the skyboxes. So this just greatly simplifies the whole process. So if you want to make everything a lot easier, you can get the BSmodHQ version 3 update, and it will give you this folder structure. It will just make everything a lot easier for you. But if you want to start from the stock game, you'll have to basically manually every time modify files, pack them. If I want to use a unit or a texture or an island from a specific map, I'll have to get all those files out there and into the new mpak. Also, what makes the new folder structure more simple is a lot of islands are in most of the maps, so you actually add to file size. Even with BSmodHQ version 3 having almost 10 new maps and a few more new units, the entire game director is actually smaller than the stock version, because of everything doesn't repetitively appear in all the mpak files. It's more centralized now. It also makes the game a bit more stable and loads a bit faster because everything's now in one place. So that pretty much concludes the folder structure tutorial on this part. I'll run through a bit more things with the BSP Ripper with you, and then in the third part we'll work with stats modding, how to change the certain vehicles of a unit, and basically we're going to work on unit speed, changing the weapons, the damage, that type of thing. A few things on the BSP Ripper though. A lot of people have an issue where it will extract files, but the files will be empty. It will pack an mpak and it will be 0 kilobytes. Generally the workaround for that is just to right click on the Ripper and click Run as Administrator. Alternatively, you can right click on the shortcut Properties, go Compatibility, and tick the Run as Administrator tick box, so it will always run as administrator. That will fix that issue. You'll see there's a convert FSB. Now FSB is the audio files for the game. That's if you want to get those files out, because an FSB is just like an mpak. It's compiled WAV or MP3 files, but generally you need some codecs to play those files. But the convert FSB is handy if you want to get those audio files out. Now there's not a lot known yet on how to make the audio files. It is possible to do audio files in terms of music for Battlestation specific quite easily. I'll get to that at a later stage, but I just want to point out that this exists. I wouldn't play around with these settings here, and this model graphics is just basically for the MMOD files. That's not really something you're going to need. So that's the basic intro on the BSP Ripper. I do recommend having at least a gigabyte of storage space available for this, because obviously you're going to be unzipping a lot of files and also making a lot of mpak files. That does take a bit of space, so just keep 1 or 2 gigabytes of space available for it, and then just play around a bit, see how it works, get familiar with everything, and then I'll see you for the third part for the stats modding.